Welcome everybody. In this video, we are going to write our first sketch for the matrix portal and the RGB LED matrices we've been working with. In the last video, we uploaded our first sketch, but it was a sketch that somebody else wrote. So in this one, we're going to write our own sketch. You can see that I've continued on exactly where I was at the end of the last video. I've got the example simple sketch loaded, and then I've got my own blank sketch over here. And so for this video, you're going to need to do the same thing. You're going to need to have the simple sketch and your own sketch, because we're going to copy some code out of this simple sketch that sets up the matrix for us and lets it use it in our own way. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is scroll up here to line 2324, where we have if defined variant matrix portal M4. This is the type of matrix portal we're working with. So we're going to highlight this code. Hit Control C or Command C, or right click or double click and hit copy. So you want to copy this code into your clipboard. And then you want to go to your sketch and you want to paste it above the setup sketch, or above the setup function. So you'll notice these are slightly indented. I'm going to highlight all of these lines and hit Shift Tab to put them all the way back on the left side. And I am going to also grab, so I'm going to go below all of this stuff. I'm going to go down to line 159, where I'm actually creating the matrix object. And I'm going to copy this out with all of the comments. Command C. I'm going to put it here below this stuff. Command V. So I've got all of this stuff, and I'm going to go now into the setup function. And I'm going to copy out these two lines. Or these, really, it's 3 or 4 lines, from serial.begin to protomatter status equals matrix.begin. I'm going to Control C, Command C, and I'm going to put that in my setup function. So this is all of the code I need to set up my matrix. In the next video, I'll walk through what's going on here a little bit more, but get into your Arduino IDE at this point right here, get all the code copied over, and double check against the video to make sure it looks like mine. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up here where I'm declaring variables. I have these lines here where I'm creating the protomatter matrix, and then I've got the stuff in my setup code. And again, the next video is going to go through what this is doing in a little bit more detail. For right now, just make sure that you've got these lines of code on your screen. So the code inside of the loop is generally what's actually going to do the interesting stuff. And so what we want to do is draw a pixel to the screen. So you can see right here on the screen that it says matrix.drawPixel, which is in fact what we use to draw a pixel. The way that they're using it is a little bit complicated here, but I'm going to copy this line out and I'm going to modify it a little bit. So I'm going to do Command C. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go into the loop, and I'm going to do Command V, and then I'm going to hit backspace a couple of times so that it is correctly indented here. So I'm going to get rid of everything inside of the parentheses. And then I'm going to write 0, 0, matrix.color 565. I'm going to open up a parenthesis, and I'm going to say 255, 0, 0. So I'm going to type 2 close parentheses, which is going to close them in my IDE, and then there's a semicolon at the end of the line. In C++, there's a semicolon at the end of every line. And like I said, the next video is going to walk through a lot of this in a lot more detail. But I just want to get our first sketch that we've written together uploaded to our matrix so we see what that process looks like. So just to sort of walk you through what is going to happen here. The first thing that is going to run when this program runs is it's going to go through all of the code above the setup. And you can only do certain sorts of things outside of the setup function. Generally, you can only declare variables. That's what we're doing in these lines. We're creating little objects that we can work with later. Inside of setup, it's going to do some other stuff. It's going to start communication with the serial port. We'll go over this again in the next video too. And it's going to start the matrix. So this is the actual, in this loop function is where the actual usual meat of the program goes. And it is drawing a pixel at 0, 0, and it is going to give it the color red. And we'll talk in the next video about why this means red. The other thing we have to do is matrix.show, or else with a semicolon, or else our changes won't actually show up to the matrix. I'm going to double check against their code that I'm actually doing the right thing. You see there's a matrix.show line here. They say after drawing a show call is required to update the matrix. So I'm actually going to copy out this comment and put it in my sketch, because it is a really, really important note, and it's good to have these notes in here, because one of the things that you're gonna find out pretty quickly you're gonna want to do over the course of the semester is look back at code that you've written. You're not going to hold in your head at the same time how you do everything that we've done over the course of the semester. So these old sketches are going to be a really good record of how you did things in the past and how you can copy code out and get some stuff started on new sketches or when you're trying to do something new in the future. So the last thing I'm going to do with this sketch is save it. I'm going to save as, and I am going to call this red pixel, because it's going to be one red pixel. Oh, it doesn't like that I have a space in there, so I'm going to call it red pixel with no space. Okay, it's going to take a second. You'll see it's called red pixel now. And this is ready to upload. Again, I'm going to ask you to code along with me, so leave the video at this point. Get your sketch set up to what I've got here, which is going to be the stuff we copied out of the simple sketch, including the stuff in the setup, and then these two lines that we wrote ourselves. So I am going to hit Command U to upload to my board. That didn't do anything because I don't have a board selected. I'm going to go to Adafruit SAMD, Matrix Portal M4. And if you're having trouble uploading, double check your board and your port. I'm going to go to the one that says Matrix Portal M4. So I'm going to hit Command U again, and something's actually going to happen. Okay, I have an error here. So let's take a look at what it says. It says Adafruit Protomatter does not name a type. And that is because I've forgotten an important line of code. What this basically means, so learning how to read these error messages is really important. It's also very difficult. The compiler is not particularly good at giving meaningful error messages in most situations. In some situations it is. Here it says Protomatter doesn't name a type, which means it's a compiler's way of saying, I don't know what an Adafruit Protomatter is. And there's actually one more line we need to copy in, and it's this really, really important one. This #include line is the one that says, hey, we're using the Protomatter library, so you need to have all that code in here. Without that, it doesn't know what any of this stuff is, and it's not going to work. So now that I've got that additional line pasted in, I'm going to hit Command U again. And unless I've made another mistake, which is entirely possible, this time it's going to compile and upload. So it's done compiling. You're going to see this every time it uploads. And I see a single red pixel in, because my screen is upside down, it's in the bottom right corner. But if the screen were oriented correctly, it would be in the top left corner. So very similar to the last video, the skills check for this video is going to be get this sketch uploaded to your Arduino and get a single red pixel showing in the corner. Next video is going to get into what some of this stuff actually means and how we can start to change this stuff to achieve some interesting animation effects on the RGB LED matrix. So once you're done with this, raise your hand. I'll come take a look at your red pixel in the corner. And when you've done that, you are ready to move on to the next video. And as always, if you're not sure about anything that you're seeing, if yours isn't working, if you can't get your code uploaded, feel free, raise your hand. I will come over there and we will take a look at it together.